Hello and welcome to the My Tank series. This video is going to be on my American tanks. So I currently have 4 American tanks. Each one of them I actually really enjoy using. I am primarily a German tank driver, but I don't mind getting in the American tanks every now and then and having a bit of fun. I do have one premium tank for the American nation, and that is the Ripper. I use that to train the crews on the other 3 tanks that I have, and it's a bit of a slow process, but yeah, every now and then I hop in and train up some skills and swap the crews around and try to improve those tanks. They've all been upgraded, and all of them actually have camos. So first I'm just going to go quickly over each tank and give a quick look at each one, and then I'll go through in a little bit more detail. So the first one is the classic M4, which I think is an American tank driver. You have to have a M4 in the garage. Looks great with this camo, and yeah, classic tank. Everybody knows the M4. And another thing about it, it's tier 5, which I love playing. I also have the tier 5 Ripper, which I won in a World of Tanks op for free, and that's been a great crew trainer for my American tanks. It also looks awesome. I really love the scheme on it. At first didn't like this tank too much, but once I figured out how to use it, it's actually very nice. But yeah, I love the look of it. Very glad I got through that op and got this tank for free. The next 2 tanks are both tank destroyers. After playing German tank destroyers for so long, I was really craving having a tank destroyer with a turret, a fully movable turret. So definitely wanted to get my hands on the Wolverine. Yeah, a very awesome tank destroyer. Great gun on it, looks great, and yeah, very good kill potential. And then continued on that line and got the Hellcat, which is just a bit more hardcore version of the Wolverine, really. Fantastic gun on it. Again, great tank destroyer. Looks cool as. I love the camouflage on this one too. That just looks yeah, awesome to me. I do enjoy using it. A little bit more challenging than the Wolverine because it is a tier 6, but yeah, really enjoyable. Okay, so my M4, really enjoy this tank. It's a really good all-round tank. It reminds me a lot of my Panzer IV. And actually equip it reasonably similar. I've got 105mm on that. Yeah, it does some really good damage, especially if you're same tier or top tier. Yeah, it can do some very good damage, and it's quite a good tank to use. It has a reasonable amount of armor. It's reasonably maneuverable as well, and yeah, I think it's out of all my American tanks, I think this one would probably be the easiest to use. Maybe not the most fun, but would be up there. The next tank was the Ripper, which was the premium tank that I won in World of Tanks op. As I said earlier, I didn't actually enjoy this tank at all when I first got it. I think it did receive a bit of a buff later on, which certainly helped, but later on I actually found the best way to use it, for better or worse, with the 75mm gun, is definitely to use the premium rounds. They are 2800 a round, which isn't too bad, but the extra penetration that you receive with them is fantastic, because this gun can sometimes lack to penetrate and it doesn't have a huge amount of damage. But I found once I started using the premium ammo, yeah, it became very deadly, and the gun actually is reasonably good. It's a quick firing, reasonably accurate. The tank itself is decent. I wouldn't say it's the best tank out there, and probably wouldn't buy it if it wasn't for free. But yeah, I think at about this tier there wasn't a lot of alternatives that I was looking to buy, and I was very glad to pick this up for free and train up the crew on my my other tanks. So, and I have trained up the crew a little bit on the Wolverine and Hellcat. As you can see, I've got 3 and 2 skills. So, first tank destroyer is the Wolverine. Really cool tank, really enjoy this. Again, tier 5, pretty much every tier 5 tank I enjoy. I use the largest gun, I believe that it is, the 76mm. Oh, it does have 105, okay. But I like the 76 on this tank for some reason. I'm not sure why I don't use the 105. But yeah, this gun suits this tank very well, and yeah, it's just a great sniping tank and ambushing tank. I think it looks cool as well. But yeah, good fun to use, and every time I hop in it, I tend to enjoy it and do reasonably well. The ammunition itself, especially the premium rounds, do a lot of penetration. Maybe not massive amount of damage, but it gets the job done, especially at tier 5. Yeah, really nice tank, and happy I got the that sort of digital camo. I believe it might be a... well, actually, let's have a look. Yeah, urban micro dots, so that's essentially a digital camouflage. The last tank in my American garage is the Hellcat. As I said earlier, it's basically a Wolverine, but a little bit more firepower. Yeah, the 90mm is a fantastic gun. One of the best guns, I would say, out of many of the tanks that I have. It does play tier 6 and go up to tier 8, unfortunately, but the 90mm does even cover you up to the larger tiers. You can still track people, still do some good damage if you hit someone in the right spot, but at tier 6 it's a fantastic tank and great gun. It is actually, both of the American tank destroyers are reasonably fast and manoeuvrable, easy to get into position, and reasonably low in height, which is great, especially since they have the turret. And it's great to be able to set up in a nice position somewhere, just high enough to aim over a rock or something, or still not too high enough so you can hide behind some bushes. And then yeah, fire away. And as you can see here, with the armor piercing and premium ammo, it definitely hits hard and definitely penetrates well as well. You know, when you're using the premium rounds on this, and you can get the 304 penetration, you can imagine the kind of mischief you can get up to. But it does quite well with the standard rounds too. Definitely one of my favourite tanks to use if I'm going to do some tank destroying. I am always drawn to the German tanks, but these two tank destroyers are a lot of fun, and the turret really does make a difference. So that's it for this video, and for the My Tank series as far as the nations go. I don't think I will ever be getting into any other nations. I have had some other tanks, like from Japan, and some other premium tanks that I won in ops or were given for free by World of Tanks, but I have sold them to make room for some other tanks, and none of them really interested me too much, so I don't believe I'll ever be getting any other nations. I think I've got it pretty much covered from where I want to be at. I may just get some more German tanks, repurchase some of my old favourites or something, but yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this series. I've actually really enjoyed talking about each nation's tanks and sort of separating them for you. And again, if there's a specific tank you want to know more information about, you can send me a message, or if you have a look in my World of Tanks playlist, you'll probably find these videos. I've made a video on the tank itself already, with a bit more detail and some gameplay. So yeah, check that out. And as usual, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again.